Welcome to the Spooky Isles. My name's David Saunders, and today we're talking to Danny Moss, who's the lead paranormal investigator currently seen on The Haunted Hunts, an award-winning paranormal investigation show currently seen on Amazon, and he's been seen on lots of other shows like Paranormal Capture. And congratulations, Danny, on your recent award from Higgy Pop. That was a nice a nice award to get.
Thank you very much, David, and thanks for having me tonight. I really appreciate coming on and chatting to you. But yeah, it was a real good success, really, after a difficult year.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a difficult year for paranormal investigators across the board. How have you fared? Because I mean, you kind of rely on doing the investigations. Like, you know, a lot of it's a hobby for some people. For some people, they do it in a more professional way. How have you been able to get around the lockdowns?
Well, obviously, there's two sides to the Haunted Hunts. There's the events company, which has obviously struggled quite a bit with lockdowns, and everything that's been going on. And then obviously the filming side of things as well. We were very lucky to get a window in July when the country kind of came out of lockdown. We were able to get over and shoot our third series. So very lucky in that aspect. But yeah, the event side has suffered this year.
Okay. Well, I'd like to find out a bit more about you. I mean, we see you on the television, and we know how you kind of work in that respect. But how did you become a paranormal investigator in the first place? What was it that pushed you in the direction of these spooky things?
Oh wow! I get asked this question quite a lot, and it still baffles me, to be honest with you. I was never a believer in the paranormal as such. I had an interest in it, but I was never a real believer. And then, it's true what they say, that it does take a certain event, for you to witness something yourself to then spark off that interest, if you like. And that's exactly what happened with me. I witnessed something at 17 years of age, which I just could not explain. And that really sparked my journey off into the paranormal, where I spent a lot of years doing research and learning what to do, what not to do, if that makes sense. And yeah, it was a fascinating time.
Can you tell us what this thing was at the age of 17 that you can't explain?
Yeah, I was actually sat around one of my friends' houses, and this house is nothing special about it. There's no real history. It's quite a modern day house. And we were actually sat in the front room, and my other friend went to the dentist, the homeowner, and she came back later on. But as she was out, we were just sat in the front room, and all of a sudden we heard something out in the hallway by the staircase. So we went out, and as we were looking directly at the staircase, we heard somebody running up and down it 5-6 times, and there was just nobody there at all. There was no way we could explain it. It was one of those moments that is just a pure paranormal moment. And that really sparked it off for me.
Okay, that's fascinating. So, what you said you then went on to sort of do research and find out more about it. Obviously, get the skills that you have today. What's your philosophy behind your investigations? It appears from the television, from what I see, you don't tend to be one of these sort of investigators that jumps at every creek. You seem to be a bit more realistic. There's less to scoff at your investigations than maybe some other TV shows.
Yeah, I think a healthy skepticism is needed, and my roots go back to skepticism. So, I can't now veer away from that, even though I've seen some fantastic things in my time, some truly mind-blowing phenomena. I cannot really turn my back on that skepticism that sparked it all off for me. So, I think trying to find the root, the cause behind certain things, certain phenomena is always great. And, people want to see that. We all work in different ways. People are, they believe everything's paranormal, and you've got your true skeptics who nothing's paranormal, and then your guys who are sort of 50-50. I'm kind of in that category, 50-50, but, I do try to remain as skeptical as possible. And my team are the same, to be honest with you.
One of the more popular places for us on the Spooky Isles is Pendle Hill. Now, you've done a lot of investigating there. I believe you did 6 episodes there, and you work with a good friend of ours, Simon Entwistle, who we interviewed on the Spooky Isles during the lockdown. What attracted you to Pendle? I mean, it's obviously not very far away from where you live, which makes it easy. But what is it about Pendle that you think's a spooky place and something that works for you?
So Myself and one of my other team members, who's actually my sister, Becky, we've had a real interest in Pendle Hill since a very, very young age, to be honest with you. It's one of those places, I don't know whether you've ever been.
I have been, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so atmospheric. It has got this very, very unique atmosphere to it. It's a beautiful place with a fascinating history behind it as well. Obviously, England's most documented witch trials. So it was always my plan since a very young age, you know, to step into television. I used to actually be an actor. So when I started this journey as a paranormal investigator, I wanted to bring my skills and background in television into the paranormal. And it was an ultimate dream for me to film a full series at Pendle Hill. And we were very, very lucky to do that this year.
And what do you think was the highlights of that? Obviously, it was a dream to do it, but did it pay off for you?
It was very, very surprising, to be honest with you. You know, we go on these week-long shoots. Sometimes we did the same with series 2 as well, and you just have no idea what to expect. At the end of the day, you could come out with 6 episodes where nothing has happened at all, which, you know, it's not very entertaining for the viewer, but we're not going to veer away from that realistic approach that we bring, and why so many people like us for that aspect. But yeah, Pendle Hill was a real surprise, in my opinion. There were things that happened during the latter parts of the week that really did shock us all.
Yeah. One episode I'd like to ask you about, the most recent one, is Sadlers Farm. Now, that looked quite distressing for you. Are you okay to talk about that? Because you were clearly distressed by what happened there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. Yeah.
So, I mean, you talk, you know, you claim that there was, like, I think 15 seconds that you just can't remember. Can you give us a bit more details of that?
Yeah, Sadlers Farm was really thrown upon us during the 3rd day we were there as one of the possible sites of the famous Malkin Tower, which is, of course, Elizabeth Southern, old Demdike's home. And when we got there during the day shoot, you know, we spoke to the owners who were experiencing paranormal activity, and they actually wanted our help to find answers of what is actually there. It had an incredible atmosphere to it. And within half an hour of our investigation started, we knew that we were going to experience a real mind-blowing investigation, one that was very unique and that only comes around ever so often. And we just experienced what I can only describe as one of the biggest waves of paranormal activity we've ever witnessed. And what you saw with me losing 15 seconds of time and having to leave the building was actually the very end of the investigation, if you like. And it built to that point. This huge wave of paranormal phenomena had built to that point, and it just completely took over me. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. Completely lost time, waves of emotion that I don't even remember feeling. It was crazy.
What did the other people around you say at the time?
The team were shocked. The team were absolutely shocked. And, you know, the people will see that in the end of the episode. We all have our video diaries that we do individually. We have no idea what each other are saying at the time. And you can see by that the team are shocked. It was just one of those moments that you look back on now, months down the line, and think, my God, we actually went through that.
What do you think it was?
It's very easy for me to sit here now and say, you know, we made a connection with the Pendle witches, those accused, the spirits of those accused. But, you know, that would be lazy of me because, to be completely honest with you, David, I have no idea what we were dealing with. I don't know what it was. I just know that there was something in that house that was so overwhelming and so draining. It was absolutely crazy. And, you know, the voices that we picked up, which were clear as day, just absolutely baffled us. A residual conversation between 2 female entities, as we perceive it, actually plotting to remove us out the house. Never experienced anything like that in my life.
Would you go back?
Yes. Put me on the spot there, but yes, I would, yeah.
So it was obviously bad, but you're willing to go back and a bit like childbirth and go through the pain again to see what happens next.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those places that You know, it could have just been performing on the night. I don't know. I've not spoke to the owner since, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I would go back, just sheer fascination and sheer questions that I would like answering.
Now that's obviously Pendle has been a favourite place of yours, but you've also got Tatton Old Hall, which I believe the Haunted Hunts has exclusive rights to do investigations. Can you tell us a bit about that and what it's in Cheshire, so where you are now? What is it about Tatton Old Hall that's something to be investigated?
Yeah, it's another place that I've had an incredible fascination with since a young age. I used to go there as a kid. It's a fascinating building. It's got a vast history behind it, dating all the way back to the very early 15th century. And we were lucky enough to actually strike a deal with them to gain exclusive rights. And the project that we sparked off in there all came from an experience we had with haunted items, which again, I didn't believe was ever possible. You know, you'd have turned around to me 3 years ago and said about haunted items, haunted dolls. I said, no chance. But again, it's took something for me to make me believe that. So we have actually introduced some of the most haunted items in the UK into Tatton Old Hall, and legitimate haunted items that are constantly producing evidence. So that location is at the moment one of the biggest hives of activity we've ever experienced. And, you know, we host public investigations there. It's a fascinating location.
So obviously that's one to maybe have a look at once. I mean, it's a bit hard at the moment with lockdown sort of changing in tiers and all that kind of thing. But at one time, I'm sure people can get back there. We'll put obviously Haunted Hunts' links in the description here. Can you tell us maybe some of your other favourite areas and maybe some places you'd like to go that you haven't been?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, I would absolutely love to go to America and investigate some of the locations over there. I'd love to go to Transylvania and investigate some of the, you know, Huska Castle, Bran Castle over there. That's an ultimate dream of mine. I think it is for most investigators.
I've been to those places, but I've not investigated them. I just went there as a tourist, which is such great fun.
Wow, I'm actually jealous. I'd love to go. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the UK is concerned, you know, there's a lot of places I've done here. The Jamaica Inn is a fascinating location. The Ancient Ram Inn I've done 3 times now. Didn't actually have the most active investigations there. 30 East Drive is one I want to go to, but not to experience the place. I'd actually want to go there because, in my opinion, I believe it's very, very hyped up. And I know some people will disagree with me on that. That's absolutely fine. But it's one of those places that I believe is overhyped and doesn't justify its title as Britain's most haunted house.
I think I can't obviously comment on that. I've not been to that place, but I think some places like that have very much got their reputation through marketing might not be as good as some of the places that just have an ancient type of feel to them, like the places you said. I've been to Jamaica, and it's a wonderful place just to go for a weekend. Never mind investigate. So I think we have to sort of look at the places and sort of weigh up there. But I'd be keen to hear how you go if you do go to there and then find out. Now, we've got to finish it up, but I believe you've got a new series coming up. You were mentioning it on media recently. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I'm actually really lucky at the moment. It's been a crazy end of the year for me. So I also do another show, which is a real fantastic show called Paranormal Captured. It airs on Sky Pick. The series 1 came out last year, and we now have a 90-minute winter special coming out on the 22nd of December, which is fantastic. And I actually go to the Jamaica Inn there. And yeah, the Haunted Hunts, we finally agreed a season 4, which is titled Project Invocation. It's very much based on the psychological aspect and how our fear can possibly trigger paranormal activity. So we begin production.
You've just made me think. I wanted to ask you the question. Some people think, talking to the spirits or yelling at them or doing things is a good thing. Some people don't think that's a good thing. I feel that you are quite prepared to, bring them on. What is your idea there when you're doing an investigation and talking to the spirits and kind of getting them to, I don't know, try to aggravate them?
Yeah, I believe that any good investigator should switch up their techniques to suit the location and the hauntings that they're dealing with. So, you know, at the end of series 1 of the Haunted Hunts, I used a lot of provocation, but it was controlled provocation that we had planned months in advance because we knew it would work in those locations because we spoke to other investigators. I got a lot of stick for that. In series 2, people saw a completely different side to the team and I, where we were very respectful and laid back. I believe, though, that any good investigator needs to do their research, do their homework, and be prepared to switch up their tactics in any location in order to get that evidence. Because at the end of the day, that is what we're there to do, is to get evidence. We're not there to make friends.
No, I just had to ask you. I remembered to say that because I know that was a controversial type thing that you've done, and it's interesting that you say that you do it sometimes, you don't do it others. So it's not just going in there like a football hooligan.
No, if I'm dealing with a spirit child or a location that's supposedly haunted by children, I use a completely different technique. I'm very, you will see this on Paranormal Captured when it comes out. I'm actually dealing with what I believe to be a spirit child, and I'm very, very, come on, sweetheart, let's play a game. Very respectful, very nice. It's just about switching techniques to deal with a certain location.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, can you give us any hints about what's going to be investigated in the new series, or will we have to wait?
Yeah, so Project Invocation is based all around putting the Haunted Hunts team into the most terrifying situations possible to see if our fear can invoke any entities that haunt there. I would love to be able to tell you where we're going, but I don't know myself because it's up to the production team to send us. We get sent on the day of the investigation, so it's going to be so interesting.
That sounds really quite exciting, so I look forward to seeing that. So anyway, thank you for that, Danny, and again, congratulations on your recent award, and I look forward to watching the next series. So we will follow that very keenly. So
thank you so much, David. Really appreciate it.
Bye bye. See you.